Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as it is. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Verses and Translations. Chapter 18. Conclusion. The Perfection of Renunciation. Text 1. Arjuna Uvacha. Sanyasya maha baho tattvam ichami veditum jagasya cha rishikesha pitakeshi nisudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas. O killer of the Keshi demon, Rishikesh. Text 2. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Kamyanam karmanam yasam sanyasam kavayo vidhu sarva karma palatyagam prahus tyagam vyachakshana. The Supreme Lord said, to give up the results of all activities is called renunciation, tyaga, by the wise. And that state is called the renounced order of life, sannyas, by great learned men. Text 3. Tyajam doshavad ityake karma prahur manisina yagna dana tapa karma na tajyam iti chapare. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up. But there are yet other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Text 4. Nishayam shrinu me tatra tyage bharata satama tyago hi purusha vyagra trividha samprikirtita. O best of the Bharatas, hear from me now about renunciation. O tiger among men, there are 3 kinds of renunciation declared in the scriptures. Text 5. Yagna dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyam evatat yagno danam tapaschaiva pava nani manisinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. Text 6. Etanyapi tu karmani sangam chakva palani cha kartavyaniti me parta nishitam matamutamam. All these activities should be performed without any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pita. That is my final opinion. Text 7. Niyatasya sannyasa karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityagas tamasa prakritir tita. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If, by illusion, one gives up his prescribed duties, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Text 8. Dukam ityeva yad karma kaya klesha bayat tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga palam labet. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear is said to be in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Text 9. Karyam ityeva yad karma niyatam kriyaterjana sangam chakva palam chaiva sa tyaga satvikomata. But he who performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is of the nature of goodness, O Arjuna. Text 10. Na dvestya kushalam karma, kushalenanu sajate, tyagi sattva samavisto, medavi china samsaya. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness, who neither hate inauspicious work, nor are attached to auspicious work, have no doubts about work. Text 11. Nahi deha brita sakyam, chaktum karmanya sheshata, yastu karma palatyagi, sa tyagitya vidhite. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. Therefore it is said that he who renounces the fruits of action is one who has truly renounced. Text 12. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha, trividham karmana palam, bhavat yat yad ginam pretya, na tu sanyasinam kvachit. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. For those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy. Text 13-14. Panchaitani mahabaho, karanani nibodhame, sankhye kritante proktani, siddhaye sarva karmanam, adistanam tata karta, karanam cha pitak vidham, vividhas cha pitak chesta, daivam chaivatra panchamam. O mighty armed Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul. Text 15. Sarira vanmanobiryat, karma prararbate nara, nyayam cha viparitam va, panchaite tasya hetava. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by his body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Text 16. Tatraivanam satikartaram, atmanam kevalam tu ya, pasyat yakrita bhutitvan, nasa pasyati dharmati. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Text 17. Yasya nahan krito bhavo, budhir yasya nalipyate, hadvap sa ima lokan, nahanti na nibadyate. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, is not the slayer, nor is he bound by his actions. Text 18. Jnanam yayam parityatta, trividha karma chodana, karanam karma karteti, trividha karma sangraha. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors which motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer comprise the threefold basis of action. Text 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridaiva guna vedata prochete guna sankanye yata va trinu tanyapi. In accordance with the three modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge: action and performers of action. Listen as I describe them. Text 20. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayam ikshate iva bhaktam vibhakteshu tajyanam vidisatvikam. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness. Text 21. Pritakvena tu yajjanam nana bhavan pritakvidan veti sarveshu bhuteshu yajjanam viti rajasam. That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in the mode of passion. Text 22. Yattu kritsnavad ekasmin karye shaktam ahaitukam atat vartavad alpamcha tat tamasam udaritam. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode. Text 23. Niyatam sangha rahitam araga dveshata kritam apala prepshana karma yat tat satvikam uchite. As for actions, that action in accordance with duty, which is performed without attachment, without love or hate, by one who has renounced fruit of results, is called action in the mode of goodness. Text 24. Yattu kame shuna karma sahan karena vapuna kriyate bahula yasam tad rajasam udaritam. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires, which is enacted from a sense of false ego, is called action in the mode of passion. Text 25. Anubandham shayam himsham anapeksha cha purusham mohad arab yate karma yat tad tamasam uchite. And that action, performed in ignorance and delusion, without consideration of future bondage or consequences, which inflicts injury and is impractical, is said to be action in the mode of ignorance. Text 26. Mukta sango nahamvadi drit yut saha saminvita sidya sidyor nirvikara karta satvika uchite. The worker who is free from all material attachments and false ego, who is enthusiastic and resolute, and who is indifferent to success or failure, is a worker in the mode of goodness. Text 27. Ragi karma pala prepshur lubdo himsat maka shuchi harsha shokan vita karta rajasa parakirtita. But that worker who is attached to the fruits of his labor, and who passionately wants to enjoy them, who is greedy, envious, and impure, and moved by happiness and distress, is a worker in the mode of passion. Text 28. Ayukta prakrita stabdha, sato nais kritiko lasa, visadhi durga sutricha, karta tamasa uchite. And that worker who is always engaged in work against the injunction of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is a worker in the mode of ignorance. Text 29. Buddhir bedam drites chaiva, gunatastri vidham shranu, prochamanam asheshena, pritakvena dhananjaya. Now, O winner of wealth, please listen as I tell you in detail of the 3 kinds of understanding and determination according to the 3 modes of nature. Text 30. Pravritim cha, nivritim cha, karya karye, bayai bayai, bandham moksham cha yaveti, buddhi sapartha sattviki. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, that understanding is established in the mode of goodness. Text 31. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha, karyam cha karyam evacha, ayatavat prajanati, buddhi sa partha rajasi. And that understanding, which cannot distinguish between the religious way of life and the irreligious, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, that imperfect understanding, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of passion. Text 32. Adharmyam dharmam itiya, manyate tamasa vrita, sarva tan viparitam cha, buddhi sa partha tamasi. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Text 33. Dritya yaya dharayate, mana pranendriya kriya, yogenava vicharinya, driti sa partha sattviki. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and thus controls the mind, life, and the acts of the senses, is in the mode of goodness. Text 34. Yaya tu dharma kamartan, dritya dharayaterjuna, prasangena palakanchi, driti sa partha rajasi. And that determination by which one holds fast to fruit of result in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Text 35. Yaya svapnan bayam shokam, vishadam madam evacha, na vimunchati durmeta, driti sapartha tamasi. and that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such unintelligent determination is in the mode of darkness. Text 36-37. Sukham tvidinim trividham shrinume bhartarshava abhyasad ramate yatra dukhahantam cha nikachati yat tad agre vishamiva parina me mitopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasada jam. O best of the Bhartas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Text 38. Visai Indriya Samyogat Yatad Agrem Vitopamam Pariname Vishamiva Tat Sukham Rajasam Shmitam. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. Text 39. Yad agre chanubande cha shukam mohanam atmanam nidralasya pramodatam tat tamasam udaritam. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Text 40. Na tad asti pritivyam cha divi deveshu vapuna sattvam prakriti jayarmukham yad ebishat tribhirgunai. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from the three modes of material nature. Text 41. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam cha Parantapa Karmani Pravi Bhaktani Swabhava pra Vayargunai. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by their qualities of work, O chastiser of the enemy, in accordance with the modes of nature. Text 42. Samo damas tapasocham chantir arjavam evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Ashtikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmins work. Text 43. Soryam tejo driti daksham yudhe chapya palayanam danam ishvara bhavascha chatram karma swabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Text 44. Krishi Garaksha Vanijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharyat Makam Karma Sudras yapi swabhavajam. Farming, cattle raising, and business are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas, and for the Sudras there is labor and service to others. Text 45. Sve sve karmanya virata samsiddhim labhate nara svakarma nirata siddhim yata vindati tatrinu. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done. Text 46. Yata pravitir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam svakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manave. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Text 47. Shreyan svadharmo viguna paradharmat svanustitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvam napnoti kilbisam. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties, according to one's nature, are never affected by sinful reactions. Text 48. Sahajam karmakanteya sadosham apinachajet Savaram bahi doshena dumenagnir ivavrita. Every endeavor is covered by some sort of fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work which is born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Text 49. Ashakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigataspriha nais karmya siddhim paramam sanyas yena digachati. One can obtain the results of renunciation simply by self-control and by becoming unattached to material things and disregarding material enjoyments. That is the highest perfectional stage of renunciation. Text 50. Siddhim prapto yata brahma tatapnoti nibodhame samase naiva kantaya nishta janasya ya para. O son of Kunti, learn from me in brief how one can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, by acting in the way which I shall now summarize. Text 51 through 53. Buddhya visudaya yukto drityat manam niyamya cha sabdadin visayam chakva rajat dvesho vyudasya cha Vivikta sevi lagvasi yatvakaya manasa dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samupasrita ahankaram balam darpam kama krodam parigraham vimucha nur mamashanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, and who controls the body and the tongue, and is always in trance and is detached, who is without false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and who does not accept material things, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Text 54. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakangshati Samak Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman. He never laments, nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Text 55. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato yatva vishite tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Text 56. Sarva karmanya pisada kurvano mad vyapasraya mad prasadat avapnoti sasvatam padam avyayam. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Text 57. Cetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matpara buddhi yogam upasricha machitta satatam bhava. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Text 58. Ma chitta sarva durgani ma prasadat tarisyasi atache tvam ahankaran na shrosyasi vinansyasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Text 59. Yad ahankaram asritya yat yoja iti manyase mityaisa vyavasayas te prakritis tvam neokshati. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Text 60. Swabhavajena kauteya nibadha svena karmana kartum nechasi yanmohat karisyasya vasopitat. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But, compelled by your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. Text 61. Ishvara sarvabhutanam Videsh Arjuna tishtati Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Text 62. Tam eva saranam gacha, sarva bhavina bharata, tat prasadat param shantim, stanam prapsyasi sashvatam. O skin of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. Text 63. Iti te jnanam akyatam, guyad guyataram maya, vishrimyaitad asheshena, yate chasi tatakuru. Thus, I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Text 64. Sarva guyatamambuya, shrinu me paramamvacha, itosi me drihamiti, tato vakshami tehitam. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you the most confidential part of knowledge. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Text 65. Manmana bhavamad bhakto, madhyachi mam namaskaro, mam evashyasi satyam te, pratijane priyosime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Text 66. Sarvadhamam parichacha, mamikam saranam vraja, aham tvam sarvapabhebhyo, mokshayashyami masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Text 67. Idam te nat tapakshaya, na bhaktaya sadachana, na cha shushaveva cham, na cha mam yo vyasushati. This confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Text 68. Ya idam paramam guyam, yad bhakteshva vidasyati, bhaktim mayi param kriva, mam evaisyat yasamsaya. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Text 69. Na cha tasman manusheshu, kaschin me priya kritama, bhavita na cha me tasmad, anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Text 70. Adyesyate chaya imam, dharmyam samvadam avyayo, jnana yagena tenaham, ishta sham iti memati. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation worships me by his intelligence. Text 71. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrinuyadapi na nara sopi mukta subalokan prapnu yat punyakarmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attains to the planets where the pious dwell. Text 72. Kachidetad shrutamparta tvaya kagrena chetasa kaschid agyana samoha pranastaste dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, have you heard this attentively with your mind? And are your illusions and ignorance now dispelled? Text 73. Arjuna Uvacha Nasta moha smitir labdha Tvat prasadan mayuchata Stitosmi gata sandeha Karisye vachanam tava. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy, and I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Text 74. Sanjaya Vacha Ityaham Vasudevasya Partasya cha Mahatmana Sambadam imam ashrosham Adbhutam Ramahashanam. Sanjaya said, Thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Text 75. Vyasa prasadat shrutavan etad guyam aham param yogam yogeshvarat krishnat sakshad katayata swayam. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. Text 76. Rajan samsmritya samvaram inam adbhutam keshavarjunayo punyam vishami cha muhurmahu. O King, I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Text 77. Tacha samsmritya rupam atya bhutamhare vishmayo me mahan rajan vishamye cha puna. O King, when I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with even greater wonder, and I rejoice again and again. Text 78. Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Yatra Shrir Jayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.